Bow your heads with me. Gracious and kind God, again, you blessed us to come into this worship place. Songs have been sang, prayers have been prayed. We come now up to the preaching of your word. I have but a simple prayer, and that is, God, that you would take today the words that are in my mouth. Oh God, the meditations that linger in and near my heart. God, take them and forge them together and make them acceptable in thy sight. God, you are my strength. The saints of yesteryear said you were their leaning pole. We could have made it this far without you. God, you are our strength. Keep on being our strength. In Jesus' name, amen. Say amen, everybody. Thank you, ushers. Amen. Say amen again. Then say it one good time. Certainly we do bless and we praise the name of our God, who does not some things, but in and everything God does, he does it well. Even if he has to hurt us to help us. When we thank God for him just being God, all of the ministers, deacons, and all of you, the Lord's people who have come to this place to worship and to hear what God has to say. Amen. Let me for today draw your attention, if you will, as we're in this seasonal time, where a lot of talk is around resurrection and all that. I want to draw your attention to Luke chapter number 23. I'm going to begin reading at verse number 39. That's Luke, the gospel as recorded by Luke, chapter 23, beginning at verse number 39. I'm going to read just a few verses, maybe to verse number 43. Luke chapter 23, verses 39 through perhaps verse number 43. From the New American Standard, you will find these words. One of the criminals who were hanged there was hurling abuse at him, saying, "Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us." But the other answered, and rebuking him said, "Do you not even fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed are suffering justly, for we are receiving what we deserve for our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." And he was saying, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And he said to him, "Truly, I say to you, today you shall be with me in paradise." This is the word of the Lord. May the Lord use his word to speak to our hearts. Come with me to familiar territory. It is familiar to us because we are around the grounds of a place called Golgotha, the place of the skull. It is the place in the Old Testament called Mount Moriah. In the New Testament, it is called Calvary. It is a place of execution. People are carried there in order to be crucified. Come with me. Peep in with me on three men who are being crucified at the same time. The old preachers taught us that there were, in fact, three crosses on Calvary. They said there was, first of all, the cross of rebellion. One thief was saying, if you, are y'all gonna talk to me? If you are who you say you are, come down. You say you are the Christ, come down and listen. Just by accident or incident that you are who you say you are, when you come down, get us down too. That's the cross of rebellion. But in the middle, those old preachers said, Terrence, that in the middle was the cross of redemption. I wish I had somebody. That's what was in the middle. It was the cross of redemption. Are y'all hear me here? And that other cross, watch this, and that's where I want to drop my anchor today. Not on the rebellious cross, not on the cross of redemption, but I like to call this other cross the cross of reconstruction. There's an E.O. Jacksonism there. Because what we're going to see is how the Lord is going to take a man's life. He has lived, y'all ain't talking to me. He has lived a wretched life. But while he's hanging on the cross, only Jesus can take a man in one day. Y'all ain't talking to me. Not a week, not a month, not a year, but one day with Jesus changes this man's life. And that's all I want to talk about today. One day with Jesus can change your life. Are y'all hear me here? This man, in this man, we're going to see how if you just come in contact with Jesus, he can do something with your life. Now, let's talk a few moments about where they met. This man meets Jesus while they are being crucified. Are y'all hearing me here? And I better tell you on the front end that there are some similarities between this man and a E.O. Jackson. Y'all ain't hear me here. There's some similarities between this man and an Emmanuel Jones. There are some similarities between this man and a Lance McDade. There are some similarities between this man and an O.L. Huntley. Y'all ain't talking to me. There are some similarities between this man and, are y'all listening to me, a Terrence Wilkerson. There are some similarities between this man and a Terry Souls. There are some similarities between, y'all ain't talking, between this man and a J.L. Turner. Don't make me come out there. As a matter of fact, there are some similarities between this man and a Lawrence Jones. There are some similarities between this man and a Raleigh Jones. there are some similarities between this man and an Alex Anderson, and a Marion Hall, and a Sidney, are y'all here, and a Devontae Brown, and a Roderick Hill, and a Gus Paul. Are y'all hearing me here? There are some similarities between this man and all of us who have met Jesus. So I can't be critical of this brother and where they met Jesus, because I wish I had time to pass the mic around and all of us in here can talk about who we were before we met him. Y'all ain't talking to me. All of us in here, and some of us are still working on ourselves. That's why we don't talk about other folk, because all of us in here recognize that there is some bad in all of us. They met on camera. And when they met, they were both being crucified. Both of them are in agonizing pain. May I submit to you, brothers and sisters, when we met Jesus, all of us were in pain. Sin, y'all ain't talking right in here. Sin was doing us in. But we messed around and met Jesus. Are y'all hearing me here? So I wanted to look at this man and see what was going on with him that changed when he met Jesus. And I need to tell you, you can meet a E.O. Jackson and stay the same. But you cannot meet Jesus. That's why some of y'all ain't going to convince me that you have been changed, you have been saved, and have met Jesus. When you meet Jesus, you can't remain the same to save your life. Talk to me, somebody. Well, McDade sings that song, Something Happened. And now I know he touched me. Y'all ain't talking over there. Y'all sleep. And now I'm no longer the same. He met Jesus. And when he met Jesus, it changed his life forever. Can we peep at his story for just a few moments and I let y'all go? Now y'all got to help me. If y'all ain't gonna help me, I'm gonna stay up here. I'm gonna preach till I get an amen out of you, but if you help me, y'all know I got to go to the country this evening. When I looked at this man, I wanted to see what could I find out about him. This is a familiar story. This is a simple story, but it carries an impacting message. Because I think the biggest secret in America is Jesus. Are y'all hearing me here? If we can just get people to meet Jesus, it can change our city. If we can get people to meet Jesus, it can change our church. You can't tell me you have met Jesus and you sitting there sitting on your hands, because if you have really met him, you know where he brought you from and you know what he brought you through. I shouldn't have to say 1, 2, 3, everybody stand up on your feet and give God some praise. You already know how good he has been to you, and if he has been good to you, the book says, let everything that have breath I don't know that much, but somebody told me a long time ago, if you ever think, you will think. Y'all missed that right there. I said, if you start thinking, you can't help but to start thinking. When I think of the goodness of Jesus and all that he has done for. I told y'all this man reminds me of me. And all of you. Let's look at this man and see what happened to this man when he met Jesus. First of all, of course, 3 things. First of all, I want to submit to you in verse number 33, he was a dying man. Verse number 33 says, and when they came to the place called the skull, there they crucified him. Talking about Jesus. Y'all ain't talking to me. Now, not only were they crucifying Jesus, but the text says, and the criminals. Lord have mercy. One on the right and the other on the left. Wait a minute, Pastor, you said your first point is he was a dying man. Well, in order for me to justify that he was a dying man, I got to talk about crucifixion. Are y'all hearing me here? First of all, let me say a few things about being crucified. First of all, crucifixion was painful. What's wrong, y'all? It was painful. They would take a man, lay him on the ground, and viciously and violently drive stakes, not nails. Talk to me, y'all. Talk to me, y'all. Drive stakes in his hand. Talk to me, y'all. I was doing work around the house one day and I got a little splinter in my finger. Spent the rest of the day trying to get a splinter out, but they put stakes in the hands. And not only did they put stakes in their hands, they also put stakes in their feet. I'm trying to show y'all how horrible crucifixion was. And then on top of that, they would take them, stand them up, and inch them over to the hole and drop the cross in the hole. Got nails in your hands and nails in your feet, and all of a sudden they were so cruel they dropped, which caused the hole that was nailed in to become agitated by the drop. It was painful. But then not only was it painful, you got to look at the abnormal position of the body. You see, when they put him on the cross, thank you, Terry, the weight of their body caused them to slump downward. And the only thing holding them up is the nails. I wish I had some church folk in here. In his hands, and now his body is slumped and is now putting pressure on his kidneys. I know this bloody, y'all, but y'all got to hear this story. And his body is in an abnormal position. I'm just trying to show y'all the condition he was in when he met Jesus. He's in an abnormal position. Are y'all hearing me here? And all of that caused his body to go through some kind of trauma. And while he is going through all of that, Jesus is in the middle talking to his Father. Are y'all hearing me here? He's talking to his Father. So he's a dying man. And may I tell you all, when you met Jesus, you were dying. You were in an abnormal position. You were experiencing all kinds of pain when you met Jesus. Are y'all hearing me? And sin had nailed you to the cross. Ooh, priest, Pastor E.O. Jackson. Sin had nailed you to the cross, but yet you could hear Jesus talking to you. He was a dying man, but here's the second thing. Don't want to be long. Don't want to worry y'all patience. When he met Jesus, he was a dying man. But come over here, let's see if there's something else in here. He was a dying man. Let's look in verse 39. He was a dying man, but here's the second thing I want to tell you about this man who met Jesus one day and it changed his life. Brothers,
yes, sir.
He was a deserving man. Did they just go out there and grab anybody and put them on the cross?
No.
Verse 39 said, and one of the criminals who were hanged there was hurling abuse at him, saying, are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us. But the other one rebuked him. Lord, you got to help me. They ain't helping me. Rebuked him, said, do you not even fear God? And you know, you got to be a bad something if you dying and you still talking crazy. I wish I had somebody. I said, oh, hold up, y'all. I got to talk to them because they ain't hear what y'all heard. You got to be bad to be dying and talking crazy. I mean, where I come from, if the doctor tell you they see something, I don't know about y'all, but I'm going somewhere and talk to the Lord. Are y'all hearing me here? If the doctor tell me they see something, I'm going to have me a now Lord prayer. I wish I had some help in here. Anybody else in that club with me? The doctor called me and said, Pastor, we need you to come in. We see something. I'm going. But before I go in there to hear what he saw, I'm going in the bathroom. Now, Lord, you know me, and I know you. And I don't know what these folks going to tell me, but now, Lord, I wish I had somebody. You've been through with me all kinds of stuff. Lord, don't let them tell me nothing bad in there. I wish I had somebody. He's a deserving man. He says, look at it. Y'all ain't talking to me. He said, do you not fear God? Verse 41. He said, we are suffering. Are y'all listening to that? He said, we are suffering. Watch this, justly. In other words, he said, what they're doing to us, we deserve it. Are y'all hearing me? They didn't just single us out. When they arrested us, they held a trial. They found us guilty. They are legally crucifying us. Talk to me, somebody. May I pause long enough to tell you, God could have legally cut you off. I mean, we so mean. Talk to me now. We're so mean, we won't say good morning to one another. We won't say good evening to one another. Talk to me, somebody. We'll go down this aisle to keep from speaking to somebody. We're so mean. We'll wake up every day and won't even tell God, thank you for waking me up. We'll eat food that God put on our table, and we'll recite some old systematized prayer. Sometimes you got to get away from a systematized prayer and spend some real time thanking God for what he's done in your life. He was legal being crucified. He was guilty. Was it for crimes that I had done that he hung upon the tree? Y'all ain't talking. He was legally being crucified. But that's not all. He was a deserving man because he was legally being crucified. But right in there, preachers, let me say a word not only about the legality, but let me say a word about the load. Listen to what he said in verse 41. He says, we deserve for our, watch this, deeds. One of my elementary teachers in Hudson, at Hudson Elementary School, she used to make us sound off the S. She said that word has an S. Are y'all talking to me? She said sound the S off because the sentence is trying to let you know it's more than one. Preach, Pastor. What this man has done has not been one thing. He's done, see how y'all looking at me because I'm talking a little bit about sin that folk don't want to hear nothing about? Talk to me, somebody. He was guilty of a whole lot of stuff. He said to his buddy, he said, listen, homeboy, shut your mouth up because you and me, look, man, we did it. That was me and you. Every robbery they accused us of, we did it. Every murder they accused us of, we did it. Are y'all hearing me here? Everything they said we did, we are guilty of it. I need to tell you, brothers and sisters, we deserve death because much of what they have accused us of, we are guilty. Talk to me, somebody. He was a deserving man, but I've got to go. Y'all got to go. He was a dying man. He was a deserving man. But here's where I want to drive home my subject. That one meeting with Jesus. He met Jesus on the cross. All I've been trying to say to you thus far is, when he met Jesus, he was in a bad spot. When I met him, I was in a bad spot. I wish I had some witnesses in here. Don't try to act like you were just so when you met him. When you met him, you were in a bad way. You were in a bad spot. But you met Jesus. You'll never look at this text again the same. You'll say, wait a minute, Pastor, I agree with you. I'm just like that thief. When I met him, I was on my way out. Somebody was drinking themselves out. They were smoking themselves out. A lot of us were in a bad spot, but thank God we met Jesus. And in order for me to meet him, he had to put me on the cross. And look at me now. I've lived like a scoundrel. But now I'm hanging beside the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. Let's see if I can get some out of it. He's a dying man. He's a deserving man. But let's close this little thought today on he's a delivered man. And this is what he said in verse 42. And he was saying, Jesus, remember me. Oh my God, I could just turn the corner and go home right there. Jesus, remember me. When you come into your kingdom, Jesus, remember me. Y'all know what Jesus said to him? Y'all know what Jesus said? Can I tell y'all what Jesus said to him? My good friend, Dr. Michael Reese said, here we have the lily of the valley hanging between two cactus plants. Are y'all hearing me here? But here this cactus plant saying to the lily of the valley, Jesus. I don't have time to go into all of that. I don't have time to go into all of that because undoubtedly this boy must have heard something about Jesus. Somebody must have told him, all you got to do is call his name. I wish I had somebody. I don't know if he had heard about Bartimaeus. Maybe he had heard over there in Mark 10 about Bartimaeus. Maybe Bartimaeus got word to him and said, man, when they put you on the cross, all you got to do is call his name. I couldn't see him, but I called his name. Hey, Jesus. Boy, you know what he did? No, what did he do? He called me. Are y'all hearing me here? I need to tell you a couple of things here. If you're going to become a delivered man, the first thing you got to do is look to Jesus. Are y'all hearing me? Go back up there. Go back up there. Look at what this man does. He's looking to Jesus. He said, Jesus. Out of all the people that was around him he could have talked to, he said, Jesus. And I tell you, if you want the Lord to change your life, you got to learn how to call his name. And y'all do know I don't have time. We got to go, but there is something about his name. I said there is something about his name. Y'all know last night, that boy, the lightning was flashing. Huh? I went old school last night. I was steaming out my clothes for the day, and the thunder boomed. I said, well, I keep going. But all of a sudden, the lightning, I thought I had some amen. The lightning started flashing. Are y'all hearing me here? I went old school last night. I heard my grandmother say, boy, you better sit down somewhere. Are y'all hearing me? I eased that iron down. I said, well, Sister Jackson, the Lord is working, and I'm going to sit down till he get through doing whatever it is he got to do. And when I got through saying that, the Lord said, boom. She'll tell you, I said, I hear you, Lord. Are y'all hearing me here? But if you want to be saved, listen, if you want to be delivered, you've got to learn how to look to him. When you look to him, that man was in a terrible predicament, but he said, I'm going to look to Jesus. And when he looked to Jesus, something happened to him. Here's the last thing you got to do. Not only if you're going to be delivered, listen, you got to look to him, but here's the last thing I tell you, you got to learn how to listen to him. Jesus said, well, since you came at me that way, I know you got a terrible background. I know when I pulled up your record, I saw all kinds, I wish I had some help in here. I saw all kinds of stuff on your record. I saw murdering. And church, y'all need to hear this because so often when people come to church, we love to pull up their record. But I want to show you Jesus pulling up his record. Are y'all hearing me here? Let's pull up his record. Crank up my computer. Pull up this man's record. He said, I don't care what y'all see in my past, I'm going to listen to Jesus. They said, well, we got some questions we want to ask you. Sir, are you a murderer? He said, guilty. Y'all ain't hearing me here. Sir, are you a robber? He said, I'm guilty. Sir, y'all ain't said nothing, I'm through. Sir, have you been guilty of insurrection? He said, I'm guilty. He said, matter of fact, let me go and stop y'all. Everything on that list, I'm guilty of it. But while y'all talking about my past, I got my eye on my future. Are y'all hearing me here? Jesus, when you come into your kingdom, Here's what I want you to do. Please, sir, remember me. Are y'all hearing me here? You want the Lord to deliver you from your wretched life, just look to him and listen to him. And you know what? You don't have to take the word of this man here in Luke 23. I got some witnesses in here. Matter of fact, I ain't going to call on nobody. I'll testify myself. I looked to him one day. I don't know what day it was that you looked to Jesus. Y'all, I'm finna do some old school preaching in here. I don't know what day it was that you looked to Jesus. But everybody in here ought to have a day. You know, way back in the day, they used to sing those old songs about I'm glad I got that old time religion. Done the other when they would sing about I'm glad I got that old time religion. Those old saints of yesteryear. I'm sorry, I didn't intend to do this. But those old saints of yesteryear, when they start singing about that old time religion, y'all know I love to talk about my mother, them, and those little sawed out white robes with their hands clasped together. When they said about that old time religion, they would look around at each other and they would be doing a little rock. And they would say, on Monday, oh my God, I got that old time religion. I need to ask you, is there anybody in here that can say that Monday was your day? And then they would say on Tuesday, I got that old time religion. Ain't got no Tuesday folk in here. Well, what about Wednesday? Oh yeah, some of y'all young and y'all don't know. I told y'all I'm finna go old church. You see, on your day, you got to stand up. So if you met him on a Tuesday, you got to stand up on your feet. Somebody said Wednesday, I got that old time religion. I'm going to skip one, y'all. Somebody said Friday, I got that old time religion. Somebody said Saturday, I got that old time religion. Somebody said Sunday morning, I got that old time religion. Touch me, Holy Ghost, and help me to preach your word. I told y'all I was going to skip a day because I don't know about no other day. But one Thursday evening, I came to Jesus just as I was. I was weary, I was worn, and I was sad. But can I tell y'all something I found in him? Turn to somebody and tell them I found in him. Now keep looking at them, because you got to tell them what you found. I found in him. Look at that, some of y'all looking at me like y'all ain't found that. I found in him a resting place, and he has made me glad. Anybody in here know you're glad? I'm glad on Monday, glad on Tuesday, I'm glad on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm glad in January, I'm glad in February, I'm glad in March, I'm glad in April. Anybody here glad? I said, anybody in here glad? Now you can't just be glad. You got to have some reasons to be glad. Here's one reason why we're glad. He picked us up. If you able, just do a little leap. He picked me up. Woo, look at y'all. And not only did he pick me up, don't be scared. If you're scared, just say you're scared. He turned me around. Woo! I said he turned me around, and he made me glad. Look at somebody and just laugh. Won't he make you glad? Turn to somebody and tell them, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. Tell them to smile. Look at them found up. Tell them to smile. Look at them again, say smile. Tell them the reason you ought to smile. Y'all ain't saying that to nobody. Tell them the reason you ought to smile is because Jesus can make it all right. I got the feeling my son. Because it wouldn't be right for me not to do it. And he said, this day you should be with me in paradise. Here comes Jesus coming back home. Jesus, who is that you got with you? Jesus said, this ain't nobody. This used to be Dirty Red, but this Emmanuel now. And I met him on the cross. Save, 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 save. I'm through. 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 But listen, y'all. Listen, y'all. If anyone should ever write my life story, for whatever reasons there might be, y'all got to do me a favor. Somebody got to tell them something. Somebody got to tell them something. Reverend Turner, Soul Terry, Dr. Honey, somebody got to tell them something first. Talk about the little stuff I learned. Talk about that. Little achievements I made in life. Talk about that. But on top of all of that, tell them Jesus. Oh, I thought I had some help here. Is the best person that's ever happened to me. Anybody else got that testimony? Come on, brothers. Come on, brothers. Come on, brother. One day with him, make a difference in your life.